Merker wavhaz wavamavam ahgu lammi them view hazyam madkal. What is your impressions of the seasonal chant?
Feel a time for a deep self-reflection. Examining the self, the core of one's being, I think I've actually begun doing that. It's hard, it's when one starts a spiritual path, I guess you could say, discovering the self, I think is the key. And yet that's the hardest thing to do. There's a lot of things a person may not realize that's there, has to be dealt with, has to be put in its place, corrected, changed, accepted. It's enough to really, really put one in the bed, I guess you could say. That happened to me a couple days ago. But yeah, the key is the core of the self, finding that, discovering that, dealing with it. It can be overwhelming. That's why I said it'll put you in the bed, and kind of overwhelming. But it's, spirituality is work. It's work. It's not about an aesthetic. Oh, let's put on black lipstick and do a spell. It's not that. It's work. Examining the self, finding every little thing that's in there, and dealing with it. Wow, that's work. That's hard. It's not easy, but it's well worth it. And I do believe. Definitely facing the self.
And so this year, the equinox is Tuesday the 19th at 8:06 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So 7:06 p.m. Central, 6:06 p.m. Wait, no, Central is before Mountain, right? So Mountain 7:06, Central 6:06, and 5:06 p.m. for Eastern. And so the nearest sunset to that, so that night, and I probably go into elsewhere, but so it's the sunrise of the year. The vernal equinox is the sunrise of the year.
Beginning.
And so I have been working the satanic front stuff at that time. I initially tried another time, but I've decided with that. But then again, a subdivision or a group that joined the satanic front ended up becoming part of the satanic front, and they got the the winter solstice time for a couple years. I'm not sure what I can do next time around, but I often don't figure out what I'm going to do with my seasonal until the last one is done. But the chant here, and that pitchfork thing, which reminds you the whole Poseidon myth, and so the weapon of, and the 666 pitchfork thing there, the bzz, riora, zemski, gvops, iz, ozira, taz, lazu, Ziu, Azoxfi, Ahku, Gazgib, Merker. Any impressions about that?
My thoughts about a dark, dark time ahead. Feel that. And you can't explain some things, that you feel. You just know.
And so this symbol here that we have, the Belphegore sigil, is the main subject of this ritual. And see another background. Oh, I don't. Okay, I was thinking for a moment that
I see a bonfire.
Oh yeah, and feel free to interpret either the symbol of the satanic front or the Belphegore one that's particular to mine.
Yeah, a bonfire. And just like freedom.
And so on the screen is the picture. You can't see it on your end, but the people who see the program can. In the screen is the picture of her altar that she has ready for the ritual when it comes about. And
and your freedom, freedom, true freedom. You remove all of that, strip away all that conditioning.
Oh, and this on the thing is her variation of the sigil. And
Oh, yeah.
and I have put on my, I got myself a good hunting knife, and I have put the sigils right here. You've seen before the picture of what I did with my knife sheath and what I did with the stone. I like to it's not necessary to do a new sigil every time or every year or whatever, but I like to do that with my seasonals in particular, because I like to do the different sigil each time. And as long as I have a bunch of rocks and stuff like this, it's no problem with me, and so the verse selections, might as well go over the final chant here. We have so the Belphegore chant, Yo Om Zam Ease Nivux Gambaz Tazmabam Vatli Bleepza Gazhagzach. And any impressions about that?
Yes, furthering the putting it into conditioning, stripping it away, getting rid of it. Get rid of it. It's not a part of I speak for myself, like conditioning. You don't even realize, maybe, well, not you, but a person may not even realize how conditioned they are until they begin that searching of the self, that deep within the self. And I feel it's hard. Strip away that conditioning. Yeah.
And so one sees it's basically the same stuff as last time. I have my seasonal, relatively 4-pointed stone. I have my stuff that anything that sort of at least relates to the order of 9 angles. I know satanic front is separated from them and all that other stuff, but anything of that category, I have this one agate I call it a bloodstone because typically a bloodstone's jasper, but so mine's a bloodstone. Ordinine Angles would say, oh, everybody should have quartz and all sort of whatever I got is whatever I'm using. I have my satanic ritual abuse dog tags there. I have my let me look up closer. I have my thoughts and my compromise is not necessarily the best term, but you could say pact. You know, some of it's for you, some of it's for that. And I have my triqueta of rings and my other ring. Somebody gave me the one I found, the set of 3 I found. And so those are my ritual tools for it. And I keep it in a little little thing, a little, you know, one of those vending machine things, but I got the one with the yellow cap. So I've saved the containers. I got a yellow cap for the warming quarter, a red cap for the bright quarter, a blue cap, UFO looking thing, you know, because that's the sort of shape they take on. For the cooling quarter, for the dark quarter, I got a green one, and you know, so that's what I have there. And so the verses that relate to this, so some of them make the most sense of all because they're of course listing Belphegore and the talk about, well, these people who served Belphegore and what was going on with that. And so we have Numbers 23, 28, 25, 1-9, and 18, 31, 15 to 18, Deuteronomy 3:29, 4, 1-8, and 46, and 34, 6, Joshua 13:20, 15:59, 22, 16 to 17, Psalm 106, 25 to 30, and 1 Corinthians 10, 8 to 12. And then we have verses, the Quran verses all include something about opening, which includes the meaning. So, but some people might not understand that part. So we have 2, 208, 4, 19 and 20, 6, 120 and 142, 722, 12, 5, 17, 13, 18, 17, 25, 25, 37, 145, 81, 10, 86, 12. And some people don't feel like the need or the want to include these verse sections that I use to connect to the mythology of the themes, and to connect other people that might not be into this alone, were it not for that. But you know, so there's that, and you know, we can definitely talk more in another program. But the
last year,
summer solstice, spring equinox is the one we're talking about. So it's the same order that I've been working with at that time. I'm not sure how many of these things I can rework like this, because at this point things aren't terribly, you know, there's not as much details with other stuff, but it's fine. I've definitely like working with this order is going well for me, I think. And so the chant that I had composed, and let me point out that, okay, I'd use the Rites of Baal and Astarte book from the Church of Hermetic Sciences, Ordo Templi Astartes. I use the Satanic Front Compendium in composing the ritual. So that's definitely part of it again. And so Baal power comes forth and descends with a sense of worth. In this place, for this purpose, it travels from the north. Eat in the east and drink in the west from what is poured forth. With crystals transfixed to bone, it is permeated within the trough. 9 times it spins wrath beyond physical and psychic barriers. The stars are born on earth. The green night is torn like shadows in the sun. A link is formed from what we've won. A memento is taken to what has hardly begun. The banner has marked the place where we become. Like the beauty of stars wove the horror within sight and sound around candles' rows. Identities are not overcome, but tied together in the vast and vital dark. Accidents are offerings that will not be taken back. It is not a hallucination, but a rainbow that is taken by others as black. The animalistic marks and the enlivened find interpretations. We are the regenerations, nurture all the manifestations. The alterations shatter the lack and enshrines the hidden beyond day and night. And what are your thoughts there?
I understand. It makes me think of the hidden parts of the self, as they discovered. That just feels to me like that. To reach in and find those hidden parts of the self and work those out. Strip them out, work them out. Definitely, this is the time. This is the true beginning, and then I see, the dark time ahead. So maybe it's a preparation.
The birth of life, you could say. Okay, so some things, the sigil, you notice the lunar thing, there's feminine and masculine aspects of it. And it sort of draws you into the center where there's the multi-type of movement. People talk about the 3 shadows. And the one line there, the nurture all the manifestations. My talk with Satana Manibus is, if you saw that interview, because I asked, what are your favorite demons? And it's like, I like them all or something like that. And basically the point is like, because whatever one's theology, one wants to call it that, people do prefer certain names and stuff like this, but you don't want to be like, okay, just because it's my personal favorite, it doesn't mean it's the best. That we're going to downcast any of the others. And the same thing goes when you're talking about an order, the infernal hierarchy or whatever other order that you're referring to. What you're going to say something about this one, and it's doing its job, or if you have names of the same entity, it's like sometimes that's the thing. And like magical titles for yourself, it's like you can use that to have different roles and different things, and it's like, it's still part of what you're doing.
Even like a one magical name it's relaxing.
And whether in place or otherwise, you could do, what feels like. So the weapon dedicated for the thing, I think I did a stream at some point with that where I dedicated a knife, another knife, and another not quite in this sort of format, but you know what I mean. I did a stream where I dedicated a knife and a stun gun, and I think I had a stun gun, a knife, and a tactical flashlight. it's sort of a stun light, but something's better than nothing, right? Because I have walked around in the dark and with the cats circling around me, the cats getting kind of, with whatever, but I think I told you when I did my last stream out there, not my last, the last one I did at night, is that there was something out there, they're growling at me, or the cats, and maybe that's why I had two cats that ended up crawling on me during the whole thing, is that, and part of the thing is it didn't like the lights. So I think the cats were probably safe with that. And people talk about killing the ego, and it's like, it's not you don't kill the ego, it's you restructure and gain control of the ego. Or any other part of your psychology, like I said in the stream from the well, I guess it was yesterday.
That rid of the ego, and it was, he's kind of fun. That's why, just like you said, you have to restructure it.
Or just take charge of it, what it is, rather than what other people are telling you. Like when it comes to that one group, that the main thing, that it's like, no, I'm not letting you people convince me that I'm all this, and somebody in their fantasy life, I'm such and such of a character, so I have to take responsibility for that. It's like, no, I don't even know this person,
Wow. Wow.
and then I don't know, maybe that's not the thing, but it's like, it's not that the marks sit in life and see something, stuff happens, but it's not, it's you give yourself over to the process, or you or something to that effect. It's not just you have deeds to have deeds, or of a certain type. It's that it's that they're dedicated. And that gives enough reason for the thing not to be so controlled. But you want to, you want to have a real physical life. You want to incorporate your consciousness into the rest of life. And as far as mementos, by that I mean, not this, like the flag I got, I picked up off the guy that I don't know what he was going to do or something. Well, I can have an idea, right? What he wanted to do anyways. But someone says, no, don't touch me. And they keep touching you because they think they're going to get their way. It's whatever. I took that flag from that dude because of that. It wasn't because of his identity or some weird thing like that. I just wasn't interested in what he was bringing, and he wouldn't put in his hands on me. So I took that memento. But some things, you don't want to get caught. If something must be done, it doesn't mean you should, because even if you're in the right and you're legal and all that other stuff, they might not hold up to the evidences. Oh, there's witnesses. Oh yeah, that's and so I get what came through, I guess, relates to this, the directions, but any direction, whatever happens in a ritual, whatever directions the things come from and all that is the thing. And when it comes to this order, it's the group that has joined in with it, that I've been doing streams for, they that so basically it's down to 2 orders instead of 3, and only those 3. I end up seeing these composite weird beasts. Sometimes it's the seasonals I see it or sense it, but maybe not with other rituals that maybe aren't shared or something. But and they have what's the term, you know what I mean. I've talked about these creatures. They're I guess they're different sizes. There's as many as 3 at once. They're big. They have something like like a moose or a deer, something like a wolf, something metallic, something wood, something something that kind of makes you think like a cat. It's like some sort of composite beast, but it's not a physical thing. It's not a physical creature. That's what people don't understand about the Yetis and the real Bigfoots. The real Bigfoots that aren't just some crazy person that got lost in the woods, or somebody got lost in the woods and went crazy.
Right.
They're spiritual creatures. The Yeti are real, but the Yeti are they're a spiritual being. And so there's spiritual creatures out there, and people's like, oh well, we don't find the physical remains. It's like, yeah, that I mean, there are creatures that are physical that aren't whatever, but yeah, you know what I mean. It kind of reminds me of what you hear about Richard Ramirez, and he spoke to this creature that some big hairy beast would tell him to do things. And of course you have to, make some choice about things. And the candles, if you saw my Belphegore little short that I came up with. So I might as well explain that one. So red and black candles are particularly important with this group. So I've made a point to have red candles present with the satanic front main group stuff. And the seasonal, I tend to like to bring in green. And the Green Knight is, again, you're using your natural trained force. But then again, you build up this sense of yourself, but things kind of go beyond that. And so it shines on you, and but then again, your shadows are your shadows, and maybe they're not as, there's something you can work with. That's, I guess, something you can think. And
The wolf creature-like thing, I thought it was slightly bigger than a real wolf, but it wasn't real big. It was in the south. That's when beings have some of them are tall, some of them, different sizes, just like you said, and different. But it's like it.
and I'll get into the we'll talk again and go over some of these verses and maybe some further thoughts. But I had to about go for, I'm not sure how long, so